Hello again. Well, hopefully you've watched the first part of this series where I was fixing some Digital 8 camcorders from Sony. I have two more to do, so let's get stuck in and see if we can fix those too. What, if anything, is wrong with these, I don't know. Let's try this one. These I don't like so much because they don't remember the mode they were in. If you've got a physical switch, you flick to the on position or to the playback position, it stays there, but this one you have to step it across, which I find a bit frustrating. Play, edit. Okay. Also annoying about these, if you don't use it for a while, it keeps coming up with this nonsense about setting the clock. And also they feed from the bottom, so really not my favourite. These are later models, but still not my favourite. But it seems to be working okay so far. Oh, ew. Sounds like the head is scraping on the cassette lid. Let's see if it actually plays anything. Probably make a dreadful noise. It's trying to play like it's got one head clogged, maybe. Maybe a head clog, or it could be this problem with this needs a tap underneath. But before I worry too much about that, I've got to find out why the head is scraping the cassette shell. Oh dear. So it must be scraping on this area here when the cassette opens. So this, maybe it's not opening quite far enough. Let's just take this part off and have a look. That screw seemed a bit loose, like it's been off before. Any more? No more. Doesn't gain us an awful lot better access, though, does it? So what could be going wrong that the cassette is not being fully opened? Let's try a different cassette just in case it's something to do with that particular one. Oh, that's not opening very well at all. That's saying I can't record anything. No, same horrible noise. So that error was because the record enable is switched off and it's switched back to the camcorder mode. Like I said, it's annoying that it doesn't remember. Right, so let's have a look at what opens the cassette shell. Looking at this old Hi8 scrap machine, it seems to have a long interconnection there between two pieces of plastic. Is that supposed to be in there? Is that maybe missing? Yes, that is what pushes the door open. So is that maybe fallen off? Or does it not exist on this model? I'm going to go back to one of the other ones we worked on earlier. No, that's a single plastic piece there. It doesn't have the bridge. Just to see if we're on the right thing, I'm going to add a little bit of, I don't know what, bit of sticky tape or something over the top of that plastic actuator, this one here, to see if we can get it to open the front of the door a little bit more. Just see if we're on the right track. Okay, I've just had a little bit of tape to that, just to see if I can push it open a little bit further and see if that stops the noise or reduces it. If so, then we're on the right track. It might just be that that tape gets pushed down and doesn't make any progress, but let's see what happens. Oh, didn't like that at all. Stalled ahead. I think my bit of sticky tape possibly pushed out of position and touched the head. So that's a very bad thing. Take that off. Okay, the idea with sticky tape didn't work. What can I do to build up the top of that plastic actuator? Maybe a tiny dot of hot melt glue? I don't know. Could obviously use aldite, but the trouble with aldite is if I'm wrong, and I'm doing this wrong, I could get myself into a bit of a pickle because aldite won't let go. Epoxy resin, I should say. Now, I'm going to have to go straight to the aldite. Okay, so here goes. I have a bit of glue on the top of that actuator arm. Let's see if it's done its job. We'll switch on the camcorder, get into full eject mode, and we'll know pretty quickly whether this is going to work. No. No, it's not helped, has it? Or it's not helped much. Let me look closely, because it's something else that should be pushing this thing open. Let me again check with a scrap camcorder what should be opening the cassette. It's one of these things you just don't think about. You know, you just don't look at this problem because it always just works. There's a plastic piece over here. That's it. It's on the edge. There. Let me zoom you in. There it is. That's what's pushing the cassette open. Right. That's it. It's obvious when you look at it. So, what's the condition of that part on the camera in question? There's a metal bracket here. Metal component here. Let's see if we can get you to view that. There. And I believe that's been pushed down. I think that's very slightly bent, so it's not opening the lid properly. That shouldn't be too hard to fix, should it? Now try it. Why is it doing that? Do you remember I said earlier you can have this problem with one of the heads going out of contact? I think we might have that problem. It's looking like a head is clogged, but it isn't really. This is the old sharp tap to the bottom. There we go. And I know that sounds terrible, but you know, that is correct. That is what these take. You know, you don't knock them about too much, but it takes a sharp tap just very occasionally. I've found sometimes I'll have to do that to a camera maybe once every 6 months or so. So that's up and running. I'm happy with that. I'm not worrying about that requiring a tap to the bottom because, you know, so many digital 8 camcorders suffer from that. The fundamental problem we had was with that cassette opener not working, and we've fixed that. Final test. Good, that's working. We have one left in our pile. And I'm not sure what, if any, fault this one has. Pair it up and see, shall we? Dew sensor. We've been there before, haven't we? Oh, not another one. So you saw the other one, a similar model that didn't have the LCD panel with this dew sensor error. So we're going to be looking at that again. It's a bit samey because you've seen me do it, but I will go through it again. I will reseat the connector. Let's see where that gets us. Just before I go into major dismantle, actually, I will just measure the resistance of the dew sensor. Should have done this earlier. 220 ohms. So that's low enough. It's not a defective dew sensor, I don't believe. Always seems to be that this corner sticks. It must be something I'm doing wrong. Yeah, once you've got that off, the whole thing comes to pieces. Right, so the connector in question is right there. So I will disconnect and reconnect that cable. Slacken off this bracket. Then we can disconnect this and reconnect it. And that's all it took on the other one. So let's see if that's helped in this case. Okay, that'll do for now, I think, in terms of reassembly. Should be enough of it in one piece that hopefully I can see if the error message is still there. And that's looking promising. Put the tape in, see what it does. Have we got that head contact problem? Yes, I think so. So that might take a sharp tap underneath as well. maybe now's a good time to see if we can investigate that a little bit further, because it's likely to be another one of those flexi cables, isn't it? Power it down, have a look. So maybe they are a bit unreliable, those flexi cables. Going back to the scrap deck again. Oh, we've made a lot of use of these. Which is the flexi cable for that? This one here. So, well, since I can get to that one, I should be able to get that one. So I'll unplug and refit that one as well. Okay, unplugged, refitted. Okay, that's sufficiently reassembled that we should be able to test it again. That did it. Okay, so those flexi cable connectors do seem to be the problem. Good. So now I need to reassemble all that. Okay, I've reassembled that. Let's do a final check. Oh, something wrong. I think there's a mechanical jam on this. Yes, I've not got this housing correctly fitted. Let's just put that right. Try again. Excellent. Pleased with that. Something else I just wanted to mention while we're here. As is the case with any equipment with Firewire ports, do be careful with these, because if you manage to plug in a Firewire connector back to front because the socket's worn out, either one of these small ones or the larger one, you will reverse the supply that goes through them and you will fry the electronics in the camcorder. So if you plug this into a Firewire capture card, but you have the cable inverted on the capture card, as I have managed to do many years ago, you'll destroy the Firewire electronics in here, even if the camcorder is switched off at the time. So a bit of care with that. So I hope you've enjoyed us working through these Digital 8 camcorders. Of course, I'm no expert on these. I have enough knowledge to fix some faults on them without making things worse, but there are many people who have had a lot more experience than me, who have been professionally trained on working on these sort of cameras. So I don't profess to be an expert, so don't email me with all questions about, oh, my camcorder does this, that and the other, because I probably don't know how to solve it. I'm just giving you some information on fixing these Digital 8 camcorders. I hope that's useful to you. Do please remember to like, share and especially subscribe. I'll do lots more content on audio and video technology in the near future. Bye for now.